Good morning, Niagara. And friends, you're tuned into Car Connection, where the coffee's hot, the tools are ready, and the talk is always tuned up. I'm your host, Niall Motormouth Jenkins, coming to you straight from the Car Connection workshop, where we mix a little humor, a little know-how, and a whole lot of horsepower. Here it's not just about fixing cars, it's about keeping you rolling, saving you money, and giving you the confidence to understand what's under that hood. From the classics to the commuters, the weird noises, and the what the heck moments, we've got you covered. So grab your coffee, sit back, join the crew, because this is Car Connection, your Monday through Saturday morning pit stop for stories, smarts, a few good laughs. And I'm Niall Motormouth Jenkins in the driver's seat, welcoming you aboard. We made it to the weekend. Best I can do. I'm kind of lost without my sound effects, so that's something we're working on as well. Going live, do at least one live stream per week, fit that in somewhere with a shoehorn, and guests. We're working on that, as having live guests, as well as sound effects. Gotta have sound effects. Yeah, like where's the studio audience? Usually I just kick it off and there's the studio audience. Well, I'm your studio audience. If you're working today, I'm with you. I haven't had weekends for 32 years, and it's okay. I'm not complaining. You just fit a little you time in somewhere. Find some white space somewhere. Well, we have a lot to get through this morning because it's Saturday here in the Car Connection workshop, and I've got stuff that I just pulled into the shop last night. I finished a door hinge yesterday. I probably should have shot that on video. It was gruesome. It was almost at the point where the manufacturer makes it that you got to take the whole fender off to get to the last bolt on the upper door hinge. But we beat the engineers. I've changed door hinges before. And we got it. We got it done. The door closes. It's so whisper quiet now, and the door lines up perfectly. So I probably should have just set up my video and then bleeped out the colorful metaphors. No, I didn't use any, actually. I was constantly thinking, how am I going to get that last bolt? I couldn't get a wrench on it, a socket. I tried every combination, but that's what you run into in the shop. So today we got the FJ, the 2007 FJ is in the staging lanes. It needs a full service, and the Alto Whirler is done. So I've got to get that out of there, and I probably have to run up to the parts store to exchange it because I don't know if they're going to have drivers, and if they are, maybe I might have to wait till late afternoon to get it, and it's only half an hour away. So I can get the job done a whole lot faster and efficiently. So let's be efficient here this morning. We got 3 great questions. Thank you to Margaret. It could be Marguerite, I'm not sure. So Marguerite, Don, not indicated if it was a fella or a fellette, and Chris. I think Chris for sure is a guy. But anyway, Margaret, Don, and Chris, thank you for your questions. Great questions coming in. And we have 3 there that will definitely take up some of the time this morning. But before we get started, let's have our morning swiggy together. Let's get that out of the way while mine is hot. So if you're just scooting through the drive-through here, heading to work, and you're on the Saturday crew, take it easy out there. Drive safe. It's going to be a little foggy, a little wet. We'll give you the weekend forecast in just a couple of moments. So hang in there. Get your 16-pack of Crayola crayons and your fresh leaf bag, freshly pressed. Take some notes this morning. And if you want to know how you can get your questions heard on the air on the Saturday morning drive with Motormouth, you got to get them in by at least noon. I'm giving you a little stretch, some grace period there. You got to get your questions in by noon on Fun Friday. So that helps me to be able to sort through them so that we're not duplicating something we've already talked about, or perhaps maybe we do need to open the discussion on a particular question a little bit more. I don't know. That gives me time to do that. So think about your questions. Get them into me at motormouth.jenkins@gmail.com. I almost had a brain fart there for a minute. I haven't had coffee yet. And on Saturday, I'm like, when I wake up and my feet hit the floor, I am jonesing for a cup of joe, but I have to wait an hour for the cortisol things, whatever they are, to rejig themselves and get lost so they don't make me fat. Exactly. Does this shirt make me look fat? Is that the time? Well, good morning to you all. Thank you for tuning in this morning, and thank you for allowing me into your world. So let's thank Earl and Louise Grant, our husband and wife team at City Auto Sales and Leasing, providing you with low mileage, quality vehicles at fair prices. Their Greater Toronto area's premier pre-owned auto store. If you're looking for something specific and they don't have it in inventory, let Earl and Louise know what it is and let them have a look around. They've got the resources. And folks, if there's anything decent out there, then they'll grab it. But if it's junk, they're going to leave it right where it is. Because why? They sell no junk at City Auto Sales and Leasing. You can buy with confidence, be treated with nothing less than honesty and integrity. So with that, let's thank Earl and Louise Grant. You can find them on the homepage of our website as usual. All our program partners are there, and we appreciate them very much because they have helped us to transition from radio after 31 years over to Car Connection 2.0, all digital. So now with more ways to watch and listen and engage. And cars don't break down when it's convenient, folks. They break when it hurts. And I'm getting caught up. We had 4 in a row. Well, the Rocket didn't break down. I dove into it to get some aesthetic work done and get it through its service, get its summer tires on, and then 3 vehicles went down. So we talked about that in a podcast earlier in the week. It happens. It can happen. And the FJ was a bearing going out of the alternator, and I've had that seize up on the road, so you don't, as soon as you hear that screech, 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 just cut it out. You know, if you got to go like up to the store in town here and back, at least that's close enough you can push it home. So on 3, 2, 1, let's have our swiggy together. You got your favorite morning beverage ready? Yeah, I'm going to have my favorite morning beverage after the program. Yeah, copious quantities of high test. Exactly. 99.5% octane boost. 3, 2, 1. I almost feel like saying blast off, but I'm not going to. Yeah, let's just enjoy our time together this morning. We got a lot of road to cover in a short time to get there, and we're going to get it all done. Oh, that is so much better when it's hot. Imagine that. Imagine that. Thank you to our certified financial planning professionals, Tony Miele and Larry Tetro, with 50 years experience, bringing us the weekend weather report. If you have questions with regards to investment portfolios, debt retirement, estate planning, mortgages, life insurance, critical illness insurance, get your questions answered. We created back in 2007 what we called the Discovery Meeting. And then I said to Tony and Larry, we should call it the Hour and a Coffee, because that's really what it is. So that's what you get, complimentary. These fellas, they're 2 of the best in all of Canada. They're very humble, and they know what they're doing. They're my personal financial planners for over 20 years, and they handle all those things I just talked about. Making sure that you have a proper estate plan. Debt. In fact, I need to talk to them. We need to do a little review to see if we can speed things along, because Car Connection accumulated some debt through COVID. That's all that kept me going was my stupid credit card. I had used up every ounce of emergency funds, period. I haven't taken a paycheck since 2009, but don't tell everybody. Yeah. And don't collect the cans in my area. Got it? Yeah, I'll bite you. Yeah, these things are, they happen to me too. And it's great to have financial planners to help you through those tough times. So don't give up, folks. There's hope. Get that hour and a coffee and leave your wallet and leave your purse at home and book it. I'm just going to tell you, just listen to me. Book that hour and a coffee and get your questions answered. It's not you're going to be your neighbor. It's not going to be your coworker. Everybody else can solve everyone else's financial issues except for their own. And don't be disrespectful, but it's just true. They can lead you down the wrong path. If you want to cross a minefield, you want to cross a minefield with the direction coming from someone who's on the other side and their footprints are in the minefield and they can guide you. That's what you want. You want to get to the desired outcome. So get that hour and a coffee booked with either Tony Miele or Larry Tetro. Let them know that I sent you. You'll be in great hands. And again, leave your wallet and your purse at home. They're not there to sell you anything. They're there to listen to what your concerns are, what your goals and dreams are, where you're at, where you want to get to. And I'll tell you what, you grab their coattails, you're going to get there. And that means you got to listen and do. And remember, the do does and the did is done. Here's what we got today. So thank you, Tony and Larry from IG Wealth Management. These guys are amazing. They're my brothers from other mothers, and you're in a safe environment with them. And if your investments are with a bank, you definitely need to sit down because you're not making any money. They are. You're not. All right, today's forecast, Saturday. For Saturday, here's what we got. The one year I had ducks landing in the backyard, and I was sitting there watching the duck pond. Yeah, we're not quite there yet. Now we have under draining, but before, at this point in time, the backyard would be underwater. 53 degrees now and mostly clear. Wind is making it feel cooler, about 45 degrees. Windy conditions from 8 a.m. till 2 p.m. today with drizzle. Oh, yes, I love that. With drizzle expected at 2 p.m. Maize flowers, remember? Today's temperature range from 47 to 72. And I've stuck my head outside the gopher hole here, and it is quite nice. It's balmy. It's going to feel like, though, 41 to 65, which is still good because we're getting closer to averaging out 60 plus degrees per day so we can run our 30-day fuel savings challenge and put at least a minimum of $100 back in your pocket. If two of you do that, you know how much that is? That's $2,400 this year back in your bank account. You want to try that out? And I know that it works because I designed it and I've been doing it for 44 years. I probably have the only FJ Cruiser out there that gets almost 30 miles to the gallon. I'm just saying. You can do it your way. You can be like Burger King and you can have it your way. Let's have a look and see what's going on for tomorrow, why don't we? All right, Sunday's weather. What do we got? Hello there. Here we go. And it might be a repeat. And 0.75 of an inch precip for today. 3/4 of an inch. What? Snow? No way. Yeah. You ever watch that guy's YouTube channel? He cracks me up. The what no way guy? What? No way. Check him out on YouTube. He is kind of funny. Sunday, here's what we got. Here it is. Sunday's low will be 34 after 11 p.m. and the high will be 47 at 12 a.m. The temperature range will feel like 25 to 40 degrees. Wind will make it feel colder than the actual temperature. Precip 0.35 of an inch. So a little over 1/4 of an inch and then some. That's for tomorrow. So it looks like a warm, wet weekend. Yeah. Break out the board games, crack open a barrel of root beer, throw down some sawdust, and we might as well hold a square dance at the same time. It's going to be indoor sports. So I'll probably tidy up the shop, get ready for Monday morning's videos, Got those lined up. I'm going to shoot a couple of YouTube shorts this afternoon. Got to whomp the alternator out of the FJ, jump in the Rogue, and go and get the alternation so that I can get that job tidied up. It needs a service and a check over. And that'll about wrap up the Saturday, and we'll be ready for Monday. All right, let's jump in this morning with both feet. And thank you to Niagara Block at 5000 Montrose Road, Niagara Falls. Building Canada since 1931. Building supplies, metal, rebar, blocks, every block known to mankind. They make it right there. Fresh. They're nice and fresh. Yeah, you're not buying old stock. They create new blocks every single day. And no matter what texture you want, I think they pretty much have it. Interlocking bricks, all the fancy stones you can put in your garden and everything, so that you've got those low maintenance gardens. And if you're looking to create that outdoor living space, that backyard beauty that you've always wanted, where you can just go hide out and relax, they have all the hardscape landscaping materials and what do you call it? I call them the English slate for making those walkways. We have one walkway like that, and it still looks excellent. You let the moss grow up in between, and then the robins come and pick it off at this time of the year so they can find worms in there. But it grows back, and it looks really cool. So they can help you with the designing and picking out products. They can also line you up with a referral contractor to estimate the job, start the job, finish the job. Just talk to Kathy Grimo. That's Kathy, Dave, and Dan Grimo that take care of everything there. And I'll tell you, that is a busy place. I had the honor of having a personal tour of the entire facility last Saturday morning. And we kicked it off with a donut, which was great. I hadn't had a donut in several months. So Dave helped me with that, and then took me on a tour of everything that happens there, how it happens, and what's going on in this building, that building. And yeah, and we even went dumpster diving. That was cool. That was really cool. Brought back some memories of Wilco on Upper James in Hamilton. I used to go dumpster diving there and then sell stuff to the guys at work. Did I say the quiet part out loud? Yeah, they used to throw out some really good stuff there. So I'd go dumpster diving, find some really cool stuff, and then offer it out of the back of my truck on Monday, the guys at work, and that helped me get through trade school. See? There was something good came out of that. All right, let's go. Let's let her rip, Tater Chip. And you can get in touch with Niagara Block very easily. All our program partners are on the homepage of our website, carconnectionbusinessnetwork.com. That's the biggest drawer we have in our toolbox. Top right-hand corner gives you all the links to everything that you need to help us to grow and to communicate with us. Our YouTube channel, you'll always learn what it is, where it is, how it works, how it breaks, and how you could have understood a little more of the basic automobile ownership and fundamentals to save yourself pockets full of cash. I'm telling you, all the videos that are up there now, we're heading for 400. 400 is just on the back door. So Skippy and I, we work our buns off. I'm English. I don't have a bum. Apparently everybody tells me that. You are a bumlish English guy. And I go, thanks. Yeah, I have a difficult time wearing pants because I have no bum. So anyways, that's a topic for another day. I take a good ribbing on that all the time. And I go, look, here's the thing. If you're not the lead dog, the view's always the same, buddy. You can steal that. That's for sure. Question number 1. Are you ready for it? Say, I'm ready. I think I heard somebody barely say, I'm ready. You need more coffee. Get some. Get some 99.5. If you're in the neighborhood, I'd crank one out for you. A good one. Make your eyes flutter and put hair on the tops of your feet and the bottom. Okay, Margaret asks, question number 1. How long can we store fuel at home for like our mowers and all our lawn and garden stuffs? That is, well, it's kind of an automotive question, but it is a good question because you need to know that. You need to know what is the time frame on fuel in a jerry can. And I'm going to give you a couple of tips on these jerry can thingamies. Is for those of you who just kind of leave them outside, that's a bad idea. They get moisture in them and you get all kinds of crud in the jerry can, and that usually blocks off the little tiny hole that you know those twist ties you get, the little metal ones that have the wire in with the paper on. Yeah, I use, to tell you how small the hole is in the jet, that wire, once I peel the paper off, is the right size to kind of go through the jet and poke that piece of crud that was in the bottom of your jerry can. Jerry can tip number 2. When you pour the fuel out of there, close the lid every single time. Don't leave the lid open, and have a rag in your hand to clean around the neck of the jerry can. These tips that I'm giving you will save you hundreds of dollars. Because if you've got to take your small engine stuff to a small engine tech, they deserve every penny they get. Because, man, I do a lot of that stuff myself. It's tinker, 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 tinker all the time. And I'm thinking by the time I fix this thing, I could have rebuilt an engine on the engine stand and it's ready to go in. It's a lot of tinkering. And, the good fellows that do all that small engine work, and a video channel that I really like to watch is Chicanic. She is a gal that fixes every piece of the lawn and garden equipment and gives you some great tips. Chicanic. Check her out. I've been watching her for years. She's fabulous. And Steve's Small Engine Saloon. I believe he's out in Saskatoon, somewhere out there. Yeah, he's another good one online on YouTube's that gives you a lot of pointers. And Donnie Boy. Can't forget Donnie Boy. He's amazing. He gives you some fantastic tips as well. So tune in. Let them know I sent you over there, too. Send them a comment. Just say, hey, Motormouth from Car Connection sent us over. Yeah, you won't regret it either. They're entertaining. They are. Especially Steve's Small Engine Saloon. He's very entertaining. But he knows his stuff. So I'm going to tell you what I do. And I never have a chainsaw problem. Okay? I'm great with chainsaws. I have 9 chainsaws. I cut a lot of wood, let me tell you. As soon as it dries out, I'll be taking a week and making sure I've got everything done in the workshop and the YouTube videos and everything to cut, split, pile for a whole week. Because this year we kind of got trapped out in late October, and I had 50 hardwood logs that are about 38 inches in diameter cut, and that's a lot of hardwood. And then the rain came in. So this year, I want all the wood in for the winter early. I don't leave any of my jerry cans outside my truck when I'm at the wood lot. There's always dust coming off the fields. There's always dust in the air. And when we're cutting and splitting, there's shavings flying everywhere. The wind picks them up, and you won't believe they'll get in your jerry can. So treat your jerry can very, very well. Pour your gas, wipe the top of it with a clean rag, not something covered in crud. Pour your fuel in and recap it. And fellas, don't leave the funnel portion of the jerry can sticking up outside the can. I know it's a little extra effort, but I'm telling you, it will come back tenfold. Take that little extra step and put the funnel back in the container and put the lid back on. And make sure you wipe the cans down so there's nothing laying around the opening. Because all it takes is one little tiny piece of crud gets into that jet, and you get an engine that's going because the jet's plugged. And then when you go to throttle up, it quits. So now you got to take the carburetor apart to get the jet out. It's all money. So a little jerry can housekeeping. Before you fill them, look in the bottom and make sure there's no crud in there. You want to get that out. If there's crud in there, take a little clean gasoline, swish it around, and pour it out. You're not going to use that. You got to have no crud in the bottom of your jerry can. So there you go. A couple of jerry can tips. And I learned that from a couple of guys many, many years ago. They were contractors and everything they used was gas powered. And they never had a problem. Don't leave your jerry cans outside. Get them inside. The moment you're done with it, put it inside. So you don't get anything in the can. Water, crud, dust, sand, it's all bad. Okay, how long does fuel last? About 3 weeks. Pretty much, if you don't treat it, you got about 2 or 3 weeks before it loses the fizz. And on all this lawn and garden stuff, listen closely, please, very closely. Because if you don't, this is going to cost you a fortune in damage. These small engines do not like ethanol-laced fuel. Do not. At all. It will ruin your lawn and garden equipment, whether it's hedge trimmers, weed whackers, push mowers, riding tractors, rototillers. Do not use it. I don't use any ethanol-based fuel in any of my chainsaws, any of my lawn and garden, any snow blowers, any of it. Zero. Do not. It is horrific on small engines. Kills the carburetors, gums them all up. It's brutal. Absolutely brutal. And we have in our area here, because we're a boating community, we have one gas bar in Crystal Beach. Yep, that's Crystal Beach, Ontario, Canada, home of the Crystal Beach Park that's no longer there since 1988. I'm just telling you. Yeah, that would have been fun if it was still here. I'll tell you, it would have attracted a lot of people. But we put houses there instead, ugly ones, but just the same. You know, you can reach out and put the stir your neighbor's coffee, those kind of houses. You can even pour them a coffee without even leaving your home instead of the theme park. But anywho's, we have one gas bar that has a sign out that says ethanol free, but I'm going to help you here. Okay, I'm going to help you. Let me see if I can find my magazine. I use a product called Highway 95. Okay, and it's from Castle Products out of Rochester, New York. I've been using Castle Products since I was a kid, working at a Texaco station as an apprentice. Yep, that's how I got started. Smithville, Ontario, Canada. Chris Hadler's Texaco. That's where I started my apprenticeship back in the 70s. And I'll tell you, he worked me hard. I wasn't just changing oil and tires. The first day I started there, I worked part-time and went to school until I got my grade 11. And then he said, I need you. He called me Dripper. Okay, don't share that. He'd go, Dripper, I need you full-time. You got to get out of that school thing. And at that time, I only needed grade 10 to start my apprenticeship, and that's what I knew what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And he said to me, I got all your papers to sign you up as an apprentice, so let's get that taken care of. And he said, I got to tell you, you got to be an idiot to want to do this. But if this is what you want to do, I'm going to help you do it. And he was a really good teacher, very good. And I was doing cylinder heads, clutches, none of the wimpy stuff, right out of the gate. And he says, if you can't do this, then I can't have you here, because I can't be your babysitter. Yeah. Okay, here we go. I'm going to give you the part number, and I'm going to help you out. You got to get this product and keep it in the house. This is the one that works. You know the pink stuff out there? That's crap. Don't put it in. It'll gum up the carburetor. It doesn't work well. because you're going to need to put this in the fuel. It's a stabilizer, and it's a ethanol buster. I've been using this for decades, and it works. So what I do is I put a couple ounces in my jerry can before I put the fuel in, so the capillary action of the fuel will stir it for you, and then I give the can a really good shake. And I'll tell you what, with the ethanol, the Highway 95 ethanol fuel fixer, you can keep fuel. Are you ready for this? I've had fuel 6 months without issue, without it losing its zippity-doo-dah. And there's a lot of other products out there, but trust me, check out some of Chicanic's videos, because she's done a number of tests on different products, and I don't have time for that. So you can see what it is that she does and what she's recommending and what she doesn't. But she doesn't know anything about this ethanol fuel fixer, I'm sure, because it's made in Rochester, New York. She's out in the Midwest somewhere. Specially developed to cure problems associated with water contamination, today's ethanol fuel blends. Highway 95 completely reverses fuel separation, cleans injectors and other crucial fuel system components, and acts as a stabilizer. So it is the ethanol fuel fixer. So I'm going to help you even more, because I don't know where you can get Castle products out your way, but I know somebody who will. Good friends with Castle Man Jim, who is the sole distributor in Ontario for almost, I think he's well over 30 years now. If you go on our website, carconnectionbusinessnetwork.com, you'll see the logo for Castle, and connect with Castle Chemicals Ridgeway. That you'll get to talk to Castle Man Jim. Let him know that Motormouth sent you. He'll tell you who he has in your area as a distributor to get that ethanol, that Highway 95 ethanol fuel fixer. That's all I use. And I'll tell you what, my lawn and garden stuff works wonderfully. And that was a tech tip given to me many, many years ago. Many years ago. So without the stabilizer, you've got about 2 to 3 weeks is the shelf life. But you've definitely got to get away from ethanol with the small engines. I'm telling you, and I can't stress that enough. So great question, Margaret, or Marguerite. Fantastic question. That's something simple that creates a ton of headaches. It really does. Because when that equipment all gets bunged up, it gets very costly. Those little carburetors and even the kits for them are expensive. And if you're not familiar with how to do that stuff, you're going to mess it up every single time, and then you're going to have to take it in. It's going to cost you more. So to prevent all that from happening, then the ethanol Highway 95 fuel fixer-upper, that's what you need. I put 2 ounces in I put 2 ounces of it, and it's measured out in the bottle as well. It's a squeezy cup on there, makes it easy. I put 2 ounces into a 5-gallon can. That's what I've been doing for decades. And again, treat your jerry cans like they have to be absolutely sterile. They do. And you won't have small engine problems. Okay, next question. Qu'est-ce que c'est, Don? Now, I'm not sure if it's Dawn or Dan. Okay? Could be either or, but it doesn't matter. It's a question. Well done, Don. Here it is. How do we know if the thermostat is not working properly, and how often should we replace it? Now, this is a pull over and park moment, let me tell you. Because many of you, here's the problem with today's cars. They mask problems. And we've been so brainwashed with having our brains sucked out with a dollar store turkey baster. It's always better to buy a really good one, like Master Chef or, go for the good stuff. I use turkey basters in the shop for specific things. They do work really well for certain things that I'm doing, measuring stuff out all the time. um, you're never going to get a service code. But then when I say that, I'm going to contradict myself and say, you know, like we had a 2017 Jeep JK. Yeah, Jeep JK. I think that was Jen's old truck. And it wasn't old, but that one got written off. That was sad. I've told that story a couple times. I'm going to have a swiggy, okay? That particular vehicle does give you a thermostat fault code. So it will flag the dash, but most do not. The only way we can tell if the thermostat's performance is not doing well is with an engine analyzer. And I got this really cool little handheld OTC scanner, and I'm absolutely thrilled with it because I can get a lot of live data. At some point, we'll have to buy another engine analyzer for the shop, but not until we get monetized. That would be one of the first things we really need to have is an engine analyzer and Bluetooth so that I can talk to vehicles wirelessly. We got great Wi-Fi here. So, but I sold my Snap-on scan tool many years ago, and that was long before we were actually back then talking about having the Car Connection workshop and creating a workshop studio where we could do the work, video the work, and share that repair work with as many people as possible so you can learn more of the basic fundamentals. So with that, even with that little scan tool, I can actually go in and see coolant temperature in live read. So it does have the capability to live read specs. So I can take a look at, you know, how are the oxygen sensors working? Are they switching fast? Are they switching slow? Do we have a lazy one in there? Because that'll flag a code for sure. And I wish I had a nickel for every gas cap and oxygen sensor that was still working gets changed. It's called diagnostics, not parts canon. So we can actually look at the temperature that the thermostat is at as it's opening. So as it's staging the cooling system and getting the engine warmed up. But there's a couple things that we need to know and understand is the thermostat can be your friend, but it also can be a really bad enemy. And what do I mean by that? So I'm going to unpack that for you. The thermostat on anything that's basically on the road that is an ICE engine, internal combustion engine. Yeah, I'm getting closer to doing my series on EVs. And some people aren't going to like me, but I don't care. There's some truth that needs to come out. I spent a whole year researching, and you're going to be surprised when I do that series. I don't give a care about the car itself. It's everything else that's been going on. And if you're a person that likes to do some research, Google sometime today BYD China. Okay? BYD China. And you're going to see something that has not been reported whatsoever. And it has a lot to do with EVs. Chinese EVs. Yeah. There's something serious going on there that is going to be part of the series. So anyways, in order to have a thermostat, it can't be an electric car. It's got to be an ICE vehicle, internal combustion engine. That thermostat's job is to maintain 195 degrees Fahrenheit. No metric here. It's a tool of the devil. Yeah. 195 degrees Fahrenheit regardless of the outside ambient air temperature. So whether it's scorching hot, you're in what I call the parking lot on one of the major highways. It's all come to a standstill and you're inching your way along. That thermostat's got to work like crazy to prevent the engine from overheating. And here's what we also have to know. Most of our vehicles out there now have electric cooling fans. The electric cooling fans do not turn on until the temperature of the coolant reaches 212 to 225 Fahrenheit is when the fans activate. So if you don't have the proper blend of antifreeze, your engine's going to run hot. That's the whole purpose behind the importance of making sure that the antifreeze is blended correctly. I measure it out and I mix my own jugs. I don't buy pre-mix. I'm not interested in buying water. I want product. I can blend the antifreeze perfectly every single time and put my own filtered water in there. We cannot use tap water that has any minerals, chemicals, chlorine, you name it, fluoride. We cannot mix tap water with antifreeze. So I have a system in the shop. So everything comes out of that system. It's completely clean water, and that's what I mix my antifreeze with. So if antifreeze is not mixed correctly, and the blend should be 50-50 is perfect if you measure it, not eyeball it. Actually measure it out. I have jugs set up in the shop where I have used my Sharpie to mark where the 50% mark is, the halfway. And so I know I mix to that line. From the bottom of the jug is going to be my antifreeze, and then from there up to the next line is my water. And then now I have a jug, and it's marked right on the jug with a big black Sharpie, 50-50. So your antifreeze ratio has to be correct in order to prevent the engine from boiling over. That's the purpose of antifreeze. So you say, well, the thermostat's maintaining 195. Yeah, but the fans don't come on until 212, 225. What is the boiling point of water? There's your question. Yeah, put that in the comments, either on a YouTube video. And I have about a half a dozen videos on antifreeze on our YouTube channel, which will show you some amazing stuff when it comes to super silicone solicitate and this lifetime antifreeze. I blow it to pieces in those videos. So those were, we did those, Skippy and I recorded those in I think it was our first 20. And then recently I did a cooling system flush on the 97 Jeep TJ Wrangler just before it's gone outside now. We can drive it around and put it in the other side of the campus. So it's waiting to have the custom exhaust done, and a bracket that has to be welded onto the front axle. So I'm going to get Jesse to do that at the custom fab shop in Waynfleet. Then when it comes back, I'll weld up the floor and everything and put the floor pan in and do the body work on there, and we're good. We're good to go at that point in alignment. Got to have an alignment. But 212 to 225 is when the fans are going to come on. And so my question to you, put that in an email or in the comments box on our YouTube channel. What is the boiling point of water? What is the boiling point of water? Just plain old H2O. Check that out. Tell me what you think. So here's the thing. Because we don't see the thermostat, and I'll tell you, some of them are not too bad to get at. Others are they're a bear to get at. But here's the problem. Heat is the damage maker. Your engine overheats, you overheat your automatic transmission. All at the same time. There's no waiting. And that's what you have to understand. You have a vehicle that's equipped with an automatic transmission, and you overheat the engine, you've just overheated the transmission as well. And that glazes clutch packs, clutch discs, and bakes the transmission oil. So you're killing two major components all at once. So that's why this is a really good question. You have to take this seriously. Heat is where the damage is created. We have to keep it under control, and we have to keep it maintained. Cooling system is the number one most neglected service area on any automobile. We all have this mentality because the talking heads lead us to believe that everything's maintenance free because they want you to junk your car every 3 to 5 and go buy another one and work yourself half to death. Home to work, 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 just making a stupid car payment. You don't have to do that. You don't. If you hang on to my coattails, I'll teach you how to play the car game. And it will put a lot of money back in your pocket, and the stress levels will come way down. And if you work alongside with a car connection fleet maintenance system, which is coming up and is going to be available for you very shortly here, a complete revamp, all for you that want to take care of your older vehicle. Because I'll tell you, a lot of techs out there on YouTube's quality versus affordability, older is better and more reliable. That's what I'm hearing out there from some really good techs on YouTube. They're with me on that one. You have to ask yourself, why would I drive an 07, an 08, a 99, an 09? Why? They're reliable. The parts are reasonable. They're much easier to work on. And here's the big one, plastic. Do you know that plastic is just a form of gasoline? Did you know that? All the plastic on these cars today, plastic valve covers. You're going to be replacing those valve covers the entire time you own the car. Plastic intake manifold. You're going to be replacing that plastic intake manifold. They can't handle heat. This is a huge problem. You're getting plastic. Everything is plastic. And if the thing, heaven forbid, starts on fire, it's over. It's over. That vehicle will be torched in less than 8 minutes once the fire starts. Because all that plastic is petroleum. That's what it is. I never thought I'd see in my lifetime that much plastic on an engine. Engines make heat. Guess where the fire starts? With that plastic. That's what's happening. It's a disaster what's happening out there. So the manufacturers, you're spending all that money to buy plastic, folks. Just think about that. Yeah, like going to, the W store and getting a plastic toy for your kid or your grandson or daughter, whatever. It's all plastic. It's all petroleum. It's made from gasoline. Guess what happens when it catches fire? Oops. So here's the problem. If we think that the cooling system never needs any service, go into our YouTube channel and watch the rescue of the 1997 Jeep TJ Wrangler. Go back far enough into the videos and I'll show you exactly what put that Jeep in the wrecking yard. The engine blew up. Why did it blow up? I leave that one with you. Why did it blow up? Go and find out. Watch the videos. You'll see what happens when a cooling system completely fails. And there would have been a lot of telltale signs leading up to that, but somebody wasn't paying attention or just didn't bother. Blew the thing up. Blew it to smithereens. And when I say smithereens, I mean smithereens. Couldn't even rebuild the engine. That's how bad it was. My guy at the machine shop goes, Niall, he goes, this is done. There's nothing to salvage here. Nothing to see here that's any good. Done. So, how important is the cooling system? It is number one on your list. So if you are already working with the car connection fleet maintenance system, you would see on that checklist of services how important the cooling system is. You overheat the engine, you overheat the transmission oil and the clutches and the bands and the servos and the solenoids and the wiring all inside that transmission. So that's why we're seeing in places like You Pull It, which the nearest one to us is in St. Catharines, you don't see rusted out vehicles in there. Anywhere. Rows and rows and rows and rows. If you're looking for sheet metal, the vehicle's in there. You could pull a fender, a hood, or a quarter panel off anything in there. They're not rotted out. They're blown up. That's what's wrong with them. If you blow your transmission up and they can't rebuild it, you're looking at about $16,000 to get a new one. How many are going to sign up for that baby? You're going to go, no, it's going to the junkyard. Exactly. Couple $100 and away it goes. And now you're off to the races to get, put some more hours in, keep doing the home to work thing to make the car payment. But if you didn't maintain the first one, you're not going to maintain the second one. So here's what I'm going to tell you. The short story here is, you want to know the short story. So for all those armchair warriors, get to the point. Well, first of all, you need to understand how stuff works to get to the point. Because if I just write this on a work order for you, you're probably not going to be happy. Change engine, $3,900. Is that it? Well, what else did you want to know? Just get to the point. Changed engine, $3,900. Just pay the bottom right-hand corner. Well, what did you do? No, you just want to know, get to the point. Changed engine, $3,900. Didn't waste any of your time. But now you say you want to know, well, what did I do? Well, you can't have it both ways. You got to understand stuff to understand how you get to where you don't want to be. You don't want to blow an engine up. And if you don't want to burn your engine out, then here you go. I'm going to give you fleet maintenance right here. That's all I talk about all the time. Why? Because companies cannot afford downtime on any of their fleet. Especially right now, they're hauling stuff 24/7 to get food into the hands of people. If it weren't for truckers and farmers, folks, your table would be freaking empty. I grew up as a farm kid, and I respect the farmers 100%. My good friend Charlie's a farmer, and he has 7 farms, and I'll tell you, he works like a freaking dog, these people do, 24/7. And we wouldn't have food on our tables if it weren't for the farmers and the truckers moving the product. They cannot afford downtime. So fleet service maintenance, if you apply that to your everyday vehicle, guess what happens? You save money. You can't afford to listen to the armchair warrior that wants to cut corners. I could care less for him. Absolutely. Send me a bad comment. I just flush it because I really don't care. Over the years, you know what? I know what works in 44 years and I know what doesn't. And I am always open to learning new things. And here's the thing. That thermostat is just a tiny little piece of metal that has to continuously open, close, partially open, partially close, hold back the coolant. Then as soon as it hits 195, it springs open again. And it's doing that the whole time you're driving, regardless of how cold and freezing cold it is outside or how boiling hot it is. If that thermostat suddenly decides to stick closed, you're in an super overheat situation in less than 3 minutes. And I'll tell you what, the engine and transmission will be damaged. There will be damage. Even if we bring it into the shop, we change the thermostat, we flush the cooling system, damage has already occurred. Engine wear and transmission wear. And it's that simple. Those two components do not forgive you very well. So how important is that thermostat? It's important enough to find out how many kilometers or miles you drove before it slammed shut and superheated your engine and transmission. That is just stupid. That's not how fleet maintenance works. That component gets changed every 24 months, regardless. The armchair warrior, they can do whatever the heck they want. I really don't care. They know it all. You can know it all. I'll let you know it all. I'm just saying that right up front. If you're a Mr. Know-It-All, I will honestly 110% let you be a know-it-all. Because those are the worst apprentices on the face of the planet. They're not teachable. I know. I've raised a number of apprentices, and through our YouTube channel, some of them have found me, and the comments that they have left for me just absolutely break my heart. That they appreciated the teaching and the thoroughness, and they're enjoying their careers as master technicians and giving the kudos to me. That is so cool. That's a legacy. The know-it-alls, I could care less. Do whatever you want to do. I do it the right way every time, or I won't do it at all. So when it comes to thermostats, if you don't want to ruin your vehicle and you want to discover when the thermostat, you're doing a survey, that's what I call it. If you want to do a thermostat survey, look how far I went, Mommy. Just like, when you were potty training. Oh, look, Mommy, I went in the potty. Yeah, there's a story in that I won't go to at the moment. But if you don't want to experience what that little 97 Jeep TJ Wrangler experienced, that finally it was the death blow that put it in the wrecking yard, and we saved it. And there was a number of hands that made that happen, and that's pretty cool. Really cool. And now it's out front of the shop, and I can hop in it, fire it up, and move it around. So it's waiting for the next stage, which is the custom exhaust. It all has to be redirected and make it super simple, because at the end of the day, that's going to be the vehicle towing the wood trailer in and out of the bush. And it won't get beat up. It'll get taken care of, because, that's money, right? That's the way you got to look at it. So if you're just into just beating it to death, that's okay. That's plenty okay if it's your car, but not my own. So if you want to stay out of the hot water and you don't want to do your own thermostat survey and say, well, at 225,000, the engine blew up because the thermostat stuck closed and superheated the engine. Well, the 07 FJ that's sitting in the bay right now as I speak, that's heading for 400,000 K. By happenstance, or did I just get a good one? There's a question. Nope, it has everything to do with fleet service maintenance. They know how to keep thousands of rigs on the road, moving product. Because if that vehicle's not moving, it's costing them money in downtime. Every 24 months, have the thermostat replaced. And don't listen to any outside noise. Every 100,000 kilometers, put a brand new radiator in it. Don't wait till it's leaking. Don't wait till your neighbor says you're wasting your money, because if he can judge when a radiator is plugging up, then he should have been on that spaceship cruising around the sun and the moon that splashed down, I think it was last week. Yeah, you should be working for NASA. Because here's what we know. And this has been going on for years. Radiators plug from the bottom up, and they have little tubes in there. And calcium builds up in there, debris builds up in there that comes out of the antifreeze. That's just how it happens. It crystallizes because it's getting superheated and cooled just like all the other fluids in your vehicle, and that's what destroys engines. That's what destroys cars. Anyways, I move on. I kind of regressed a little bit, but cooling system will put your vehicle in the U-pull-it wrecking yard very, very quickly. Change the thermostat every 24 months, and then that's it. You're safe. You're safe. And put a factory thermostat in there. I'm not a fan of the aftermarket thermostats on the newer vehicles. If it's like an older vehicle, from like the 70s, the 80s, or even early 90s, I'll use a Stant. I don't buy any offshore thermostats. I've had problems with those in the past. I'll either buy Daco or Stant. But when it comes to today's vehicles, even my own, I get the thermostat from the factory. Factory OEM thermostat. Change it out every 24 months. Save yourself that opportunity for that little tiny thermostat to stick closed at the wrong moment. You're on the 401 somewhere, going to a vacation, and it closes and superheats the engine in 3 minutes. It'll be blowing hoses, and steam will be coming out, and you've done engine damage and transmission damage. So don't go there. That's the short story. Cooling system. So every 100,000, radiator out, stuff in a new one. They plug from the bottom up, and you can't see that. So if you look in through the top, you'll see probably some clean tubes up top, and you go, oh, it's okay. No, it's not. And today's radiators, they're not making them like they used to in the old school stuff. Those things were cooling systems. Today, you're just an inch away from superheating and overheating. You got to prevent that from happening, because that'll be what puts your car in the wrecking yard very, very quickly. The damage is catastrophic. So if we lose, say, 3 rows on the bottom of the radiator, the tubes are blossomed and plugged up, you've now lost a third of your heating and cooling. If we've got half the radiator plugged from the bottom up, you can't see it and you can't flush it out. Now you only have half the cooling. You see where I'm going? Was an engineer, and I'm sharing this tidbit with you. I had coffee with an engine designer, an engineer, the brainiacs. And here's what he told me. He said, Motormouth, every 100,000 kilometers, radiator out, stuff it in the garbage. Get a new one. Put it in. I said, wow. He goes, nobody's ever told me. He goes, that you'll run that engine till it can't run anymore. He said you'll put 500,000 miles on it. Every 100,000 K, radiator out, stuff a new one in. Every 2 years, change the thermostat. Keep the engine running at temp, full cooling system working 100%. He says that thing will outlive you. That's coming from an engine designer. Engine designer, but not the builder. He said how we've designed the cooling systems, it's super important. The whole system can do its job all the time. And that'll keep you out of hot water, he said. And that's a joke. Yeah. Okay, quickly, last question. And it's a quick one. Chris asks, fluids, how often should they be replaced, or are they not required to be replaced? Okay, the not required to be replaced part is a no times no divided by no. No squared to the square root of 110. No. Yeah. Are they not required to be changed? No. Yes. Yes, they are. Yes, they are needing to be changed. We're able to test every fluid now. We have test equipment to test brake fluid, power steering fluid, transmission fluid, all of it. And again, if you were working with our fleet system maintenance, which should be available this week, all going well. I've sent the pictures, so we're putting up a profile page on our website so you can see what you get and how simple it will be for you to follow it, no matter what age group, whether you're a widow, a single mom, single dad, you don't know the difference between a hubcap and a wheel nut. It doesn't matter. It will teach you everything you need to know, just like a grocery list. Fluids, they're heated and cooled and heated and cooled and heated and cooled and heated and cooled every single time you drive your automobile. Whether they're synthetic oils or not, they degrade. They break down. There's thermal breakdown, period. That's just how they work. That's why when I talk about fluids and filters are your best insurance to get you high mileage out of your older vehicle or whatever automobile you're driving. We're seeing so many vehicles that are like 3 years old, dropping engines, dropping transmissions, head gaskets, cracked heads. It's because of the cooling. They're just not designed well. And a lot of plastic. Like, That's a lot of money. $72,000 for a Silverado. American. And you're getting plastic and the engines aren't lasting. Come on. We're not doing well out there. We're not doing well. Older is better. Change your fluids every 24 months. If you do a lot of short trips, you don't use the car a lot, you're under severe service. That means your vehicle requires more attention, more maintenance. Things get contaminated, rusted, corroded long before they wear out. You're not doing the vehicles a service by not driving it a lot. The person that's driving, say, an hour to work one way and twice a day, there and back an hour each, that's a piece of machinery that's working. It's getting a chance to stretch its legs. And that's what happens to us because we have our fundraising vehicles we take out to fundraisers. You let the kids have their pictures taken in. It's usually their moms that are more excited than the kids. And they sit for 6 months. They've been tucked away for 6 months. When they come out, every single one of them has to be gone over, front to back, back to front, upside down, and right side up, because they sit for 6 months of the year. That's the way it is. They're a lot of work, I'll tell you that. They're like boats. Best day to own a boat is the day you sell it. A boater told me that a long time ago. He says you got to be prepared to keep the maintenance up. You don't want to be 2.5 miles out in the lake and the engine overheats. Not a good idea. Or starts on fire. Cars are the same way. They have fluids. Okay, the synthetic story, they still break down. If you want to watch a really good website, tap into the Oil Geek, Lake Jr. He's related to, his father is Lake Speed, the phenomenal NASCAR driver. Yeah, watch the Oil Geek. He does all the examining of the oils, how long they last, do they break down? And the short answer is, synthetic or not, they still break down, period. I don't care what flavor it is, what color it is. It's heated and cooled and heated and cooled and heated and cooled continuously. There has to be thermal breakdown. There has to be. That's just the way it is. So all your fluids, if you want to do it tight and right, let your tech test them and verify what their condition is. Or if you want to use a general rule of thumb, I change all my fluids out every 24 months. Brake fluid especially takes so much abuse because that brake fluid oil, it's not an oil, it's actually organic, and it's hydroscopic. It draws air into itself and it attracts moisture, H2O, and it contaminates it, but it also becomes contaminated and broken down by the heating and cooling, and it changes color. So brake fluid is basically looks like a very lean apple juice. You can see there's a slight yellow hue to it, but you can see through it. It's opaque. But brake fluid gets dark quite quickly because of the heat it takes, and it's always drawing moisture out of the air. It gets contaminated and it turns color, and that's where you got to get it out of there, because that's what costs you brake parts money. All the hydraulic stuff in a braking system gets contaminated, and then it breaks down as well. So then you're spending more money on components than the brake fluid itself. So a flushing of the braking system every 24 months regardless will save you so much money. I can't even begin to tell you how much. Watch a bunch of the videos on our YouTube channel from last year. We had the brake nationals going here all summer. We had one vehicle after the next where the braking system was just self-destructed from lack of maintenance, and it was bad. Those were major jobs, and you get to see that on the videos of what we got into and just how bad they were. Couldn't save anything, just all destruction. So till Monday morning, have yourself a fabulous weekend. Thank you to all those at Crystal Ridge Dream Center that are serving men, women, children meals, love, and hope every day of the week. Changing lives one at a time in times when community support is crucial. Crystal Ridge Dream Center shines as a beacon of compassion and transformation. They're in the heart of Crystal Beach at 385 Derby Road. I just found out yesterday that they're running out of food and they're having to turn people away, and their hearts are absolutely breaking there. They don't like to turn anyone away. They could use our support. So anything you can do, cash donation, donate food. They're running out of food. They're having to. They don't know what they're going to do next week. They've been the number of meals that go out the door, hot meals Tuesdays and Fridays, and then they're feeding the kids after school for the after school programs, and it all costs. They don't have any government funding whatsoever. It's local businesses and you and I digging in and doing something. So whatever you could do would be of great benefit to them. They're serving men, women, widows, orphans, single moms and dads, and the kids after school programs. All the programs are free. They have amazing programs running for pretty much anything that is required. So check them out on our website. Search your heart, see what you can do, and I say a big thank you to you, because you know why? You can change a life. Yep, you certainly will. They know how to take a nickel and hammer it into a dollar. But let's dig a little deeper and see if we can help them with that food issue. There's other places in and around our area that they do. Crystal Ridge Dream Center does Tuesdays, Fridays, and then after schools. There's a couple other missions in town here that one picks up on Thursday, and we're not quite sure. I was asking some questions yesterday because that's when I had the conversation. I said, how's it going over there at the Dream Center? Well, we're having to put a sign on the door, and we can't provide. The demand is too high. So see what you can do. I know what I can do, and that's my job, is to help raise awareness of what they do, where they are, and just click on their link under their logo. Just click on their logo. It'll open their profile page and check them out. Check them out for yourself. They're a non-profit, faith-based organization. When you buy merch in our merch store, those proceeds go to Total Freedom Addiction Campuses, Canada and USA. And Skippy and I, that's close to our hearts. We've known people that have gone through addiction. It's ugly. It's absolutely ugly. When they get to that point where they're ready to deal with it, man, it's a blessing to have Total Freedom Addiction Campuses right there, because that's what they do. It's not a program. It's a life change. So when you buy merch in our merch store on our website at carconnectionbusinessnetwork.com, know that you are helping Skippy and I to support those who have made that decision to battle their addiction and win and get their life back. A new life waits for them at Total Freedom Addiction Centers, Canada and USA. Check them out on our website. Have yourself a fantabulous weekend. Keep it under 100. Happy, healthy motoring, friends. And do all those little things to help us. Like, share, follow, subscribe, ring the notification bell so you're notified when new videos come out. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook. There's reels and bloopers you won't see anywhere else. Watch and listen and join in on our podcasts. They're now all populating to our YouTube channel as well, so that's really, really cool. Saves you time if you want to grab our podcast there, or click on our iHeart Radio logo. That'll take you there, or wherever you're pulling your podcast from, just type in Car Connection Workshop. We'll see you Monday morning bright and early for another Motormouth Morning Drive. Be safe out there. Peace, patience, kindness always, and make it a great day. Bye for now.